Hello, Just to Film here. I just came out of a 12 a.m. showing of the Mario movie. I'm a lifelong Mario fan, and yeah, this movie was not good. Now people are going to say there seems like there's a really weird, toxic, defensive community behind this when it's just like a movie opinion I have. Um, oh, it's a kids movie, so why do you expect it to be good? I'm sorry, Toy Story 2 is my favorite movie of all time. Oh, the Mario movies don't have a plot, so why'd you expect this to have a plot? Because it doesn't have much else going for it. I don't know why this was made into a movie besides let's make some money, you know? It doesn't tell a creative story, it doesn't tell a story of any passion or any meaning really, besides stuff that is cookie cutter to films of all ages. Like this is a generic kids movie. Now, what I like about the movie is the original score by Brian Tyler is awesome because it uses music from the games reorchestrated in a new way that sounds fantastic. And the film, unlike a lot of other films with a score, knows how to use the music well. However, the film's music direction sucks because they reuse 80s pop music that you've seen in a billion different movies, even animated movies like, oh my gosh, they use Holding Out for a Hero. There's an animated movie that uses that way better than in this movie, where all these 80s songs used just kind of seem like they're out of place. I don't know why they put them in there. It seems like they were overdone, say, like put over a score moment that probably had a great, rendition of a song from the great original score by Brian Tyler, and they feel so out of place. I'm like, this does not need any of this 80s pop music. And again, the most generic, popular 80s pop music, which really makes me sad. Songs I love, but songs that have been used in so much other media. So that's really disappointing. And it just makes the music direction feel really half good, half bad. So out of place. The voice acting sucks. I'm sorry. Chris Pratt surprisingly seems like he's trying. It's just Chris Pratt, but at least it seems like he's putting affliction to his voice. The voice by Anya Taylor-Joy for Peach sounds so lazy. It sounds phoned in. She's like, "Whoa, we got to get the thing." Okay. And then even worse is Fred Armisen's Cranky Kong. It feels out of place for the character, unlike Peach, where it's like, okay, that kind of sounds like what you would expect from Peach. This one's like, okay, wait, what are they even doing here? And then it has the same problem with Peach of like saying things in such an uninterested way. I don't know if there's any performance there really. And then there's just grating voices. Like I left this kind of with a headache, and I think that's in part to specific voice performances. I like Charlie Day, but I'm sorry. Luigi in this movie sounds really grating. It just gets on your nerves. Like if you thought Benny from the Lego movie was annoying, which I think they used Benny fantastically. I thought that funny enough, Charlie Day and Chris Pratt were in the Lego movie, which is so funny because the plot of this movie is literally what the Lego movie makes fun of, but it does it in the most standard way and it has no self-awareness. But anyways, so Luigi in this movie is annoying, but thankfully he's not used as much. However, like Toad is so annoying by Keegan-Michael Key. Oh my gosh. And then they have, I mean, I guess I could say because it was in later trailers, but there's a character that was in, I think, the second trailers and maybe some TV spots or something like that. But I don't want to say it just in case you're going into this blind. But there's a character that has a child voice, and not only is the voice annoying, but I hate the writing on that character. It's like the most obvious, oh, it's a child voice, but it's saying something quote unquote edgy, but it's not edgy. It's the most straightforward, like, oh, this is not what you would expect them to say because it's about the darkness or whatever, and it has no substance to it. And that's the thing, the jokes in this movie, which is what a lot of the movie is comprised on in its dialogue, are terrible. Like they're just jokes you find in other movies that are children's movies. They're not funny. I say, "Oh yeah, that's like that movie. Oh yeah, that's like that movie." I did not laugh once. I smiled throughout the movie, here and there, because they have references. But references don't make a movie better or worse. It's just like, "Oh wow, they actually referenced that kind of obscure Mario reference there." Okay. Lots of Nintendo references, centered around NES era, oddly enough. I don't know why it was so centered to NES era. I was like, okay, kind of make some later reference, but there are some later references to games in later parts of Nintendo's lineage. But yeah, there's not much I could get from the experience here. I guess another thing I liked, or two other things I liked, is first off, I think the pacing, they thankfully keep this at like 90 minutes. It goes by quick. And with not much of a story, it needs that fast pace. And then I like the backgrounds of this where it's busy and they have a lot of things going on. And it's like, okay, they put work and thought into, okay, in the backgrounds, you can see this moving around and they're like, not like a spam of like, say, the crocodile model from Sing, which when I think of Illumination, I think of how lazy their backgrounds can be. So I like that these were kind of busy and interesting to look at backgrounds. But in general, I think they could have just not even put dialogue in this movie or used like the limited dialogue from the games, and it would have been a better movie because I wouldn't have left with a headache and all these groaner jokes. And the score does so much for the movie, but then again, the music direction sucks because they add the 80s pop music. It's like, why? Totally, totally unnecessary. But back to art direction, while I think it has interesting colors used, I don't think it has purposeful use of color. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, this is super colorful and kind of a cool mix of colors, but there's not really much of a purpose to it in a thematic way. And then also, I think that the design of this has something that, like, I don't know, in the Mario fandom around like the 2010s, there was this point where they were just doing like, okay, grassland, lava land, desert. And this does that where it's like very uninspired Mario, I guess, scenery design, which is something I love about my favorite Mario games, is the interesting scenery and level designs, but they don't really go there at all. It's just, okay, grassland, lava, okay, kind of spooky, that's it. And it's kind of disappointing in that regard. Yeah, I don't have much else to say. I could point out some references here and there, but I don't want to spoil that. I mean, it's just this was really disappointing, even though I didn't expect much because it was Illumination, and they I don't think they've ever made a good film. People say Despicable Me 1 and 2. I haven't seen 2 since it came out, but I liked Despicable Me 1 when it came out, and I saw it a couple times when it came out, but that was when I was very young, 2010. Well, not very young, so I was 13 then. But I saw it recently, and it was boring. Like, okay, there's some memes that you recognize from it, but like at this point, I don't even think that movie holds up. So yeah, 3 out of 10 if you ask me. Just such a lazy attempt at the Mario movie. It feels like the only effort was really put into some interesting background animations with how they, organize some background characters and stuff like that. But most importantly, the score. I think the score is so well done, and it sucks that they hamper it with awful use of just recognizable 80s music used in so many other movies. So yeah, really sad, really sad. But, at the end of the day, it's just a movie. And a movie aimed at children. And it doesn't cross that barrier that Toy Story 2 or the Lego movie or Ratatouille cross, where it's a genuinely great movie that you could say is aimed at kids, but appeals to people of all ages because of how well the craft is, how purposeful things are in this movie. And that's not what you find in the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Instead, you get a headache. So yeah, really disappointed here. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Just be respectful because it's just my movie opinion. People are going to get a little bit rabid, I fear, and just chill out. It's a movie opinion on a children's movie. Calm down. We all have different opinions. If you don't agree, tell me what you liked about it, and I will appreciate hearing that, honestly. I'll see you later. Subscribe here for more honest movie reviews. Peace out. Bye.